Okay, hello everybody, welcome to another episode. This is the fourth time I've done it, I don't know, of Rex Media Log, what I've been watching, what I've been enjoying, what I've been playing, all that kind of stuff. So I can talk about things I've been checking out in the big 2025, current releases, stuff from a while ago. Ninja Gaiden 4, oh my god. So I remember when they did the announcement for this, I think it was back in February, and then they shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Like the Unreal Overlay remake. I had a real fun time with that. I was very much looking forward to this, irregardless, but. The thing that made it even more exciting is because it was co-developed slash just developed, just made by Platinum Games. And I know Platinum Games have got that real ups and downs, but I've been like, dude, I go back to like, you know, like Capcom to Clover Studio to early, you know, Platinum went to like Hideki Kojima, and you're talking like Bayonetta banger, you're talking Vanquish, absolute banger, you're talking Mad World, pretty damn good. You know, like you've got all these like sick games. They did kind of fall from graces a little bit, and Platinum been a bit hit and miss. But to be fair, I haven't actually kept up with everything, so I can't give my own super opinion on that. But this, whatever, Ninja Gaiden 4. Dude, the numbering system here goes Ninja Gaiden, and Ninja Gaiden 2 is a 2, and then Ninja Gaiden 3 is Roman numerals, and then this is a 4. Whatever. Anyway, I think it's that. Anyway, Ninja Gaiden 4, this is sick. This is really, really good. I enjoyed this a lot. Felt like early Xbox game. Felt like a PS2 game. Loads of... Maybe a little bit too long, because it kind of does that thing where you kind of like run back through all the levels again, except as a different character. Maybe a little bit too long, but whatever, man. We're not gonna gawk at we're not gonna complain. Sorry, about too much content. We're not gonna complain about too much content. I think it's sick. It just felt like a Platinum game. Really cool, fun. Combo strings still in. Lots of abilities you can pick up, cool action, the bosses are engaging, some of the mechanics of like the blood drives, so they're called blood drives, blood raven moves and all that kind of thing. I like this a lot. I thought it was super fun. Keep making Ninja Gaiden games. I heard this did well. I think it sold quite a lot on Steam. Obviously I played it on Game Pass, because I dip into Game Pass every so often and play all the games I want to and then dip out. But yeah, it's not on Game Pass, but I think it did really well on Steam, so like good for frickin' it. Okay, I read a comic book. I read Disney Marvel What If. I'm usually not a fan of What If because I kind of feel it's like sort of, you know, it makes a lot of things like inconsequential or whatever, and I'm not honestly a multiverse guy, but I am a Donald Duck guy. So I thought I would check out this What If collection. It was like 5 or 6 different one-shots that have came out over the years. I think the first one they did was like, it was coinciding a Wolverine and Donald Duck, like, big anniversary, like, you know, like 70 years of Donald, or like, you know, and like however many years of Wolverine, like, coincided. So they did this, like, Donald Duck Wolverine What If, which is fun. And then there's a bunch of other stories where a lot of them are Donald Duck. Like, Donald Duck is Thor, Donald Duck is Iron Man. He pops up a few other places as well. So a lot of them are Donald Duck. There's Minnie Mouse as Ms. Marvel for some reason, but like, whatever. This is fun. You know, this is fine. You know, it's kind of like disposable, whatever. But when you make most of the characters Donald Duck, and Donald Duck is historically absolutely slapped in comic book form. Like you go back to all the Scrooge McDuck stuff, which are rigid. Is it Don whatever? I've forgotten the name of the writer artist. But you go back to all that, you know, Donald Duck, Scrooge McDuck stuff that like spawned DuckTales. It's like Donald Duck is historically slapped in comic books. So if you're gonna just make if you're just gonna make Donald Duck a bunch of Marvel characters, I'm gonna show up and read it. Okay, this is the first time we've talked about pro wrestling on this these videos, and expect me to talk about a fair bit of pro wrestling because unfortunately I am grandfathered in, and because I've been watching pro wrestling for so long, I just keep watching pro wrestling. And when pro wrestling is bad, it is the most embarrassing cringe thing on the planet. When pro wrestling is good, it is just sick and everything comes together. I'm just a big fan of like performance art, and I'm a big fan of like storytelling and mythology and oomph, and you know, I like stunts as well. So pro wrestling, it does a lot for me. It really does a lot for me. And it's really the last sort of commercially viable, full body, you know, massive performance art. It's an insane carny concept when you think about it. We're not here to talk about the concept of pro wrestling. We're here to talk about NXT Halloween Havoc. So Halloween Havoc is a freaking NXT pay-per-view premium live event, whatever they call them now. NXT has been pretty good, honestly. I've been enjoying kind of like NXT recently. I think it's been a lot hotter than the main show, than WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown, which has been a mess for a little bit of a while. But this is the weakest NXT like big show for quite a while. Like generally the start of the show is good, but like the last two matches, which were like the build to, they just didn't really deliver the promise they were setting out to do. I think it's probably just a blip. I think we're going to go back to getting, like, banger NXT shows. But there we go. Expect me to talk about more pro wrestling, right? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. AEW, WWE, NXT. Unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to me. We're going to talk about pro wrestling or just skip those bits. Okay, the Ghost Town Pumpkin. The annual. I think this was originally called the Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival, but I think it's now renamed the annual Ghost Town Pumpkin Festival, because this game like has like live servers, and I think they go live for just like a few weeks around Halloween every year. And it is a pumpkin carving game. This is recommended by Zani on the channel, and it is a pumpkin carving game where you carve pumpkins. It's absolutely amazing. There's more going on than that, and there's more like social features and stuff like that, which I didn't know about, and I find incredibly exciting. But its core, it is a pumpkin carving game with social elements, and I found this incredibly endearing. I had a really good time with it. It really surprised me. I knew nothing about it. It's by the guy who developed A Short Hike, which is a video game I really enjoyed. This game here, Halloween's been and gone. Put this on your list for next year. I'm going to be playing this every single year on Halloween. Or you could go back and check the stream of us playing it. You'll be able to find that in my live archive. But yeah, I hella enjoyed this, and I will be playing this every single year because they update it every year. I think it's on like year 4 or year 5 now, and every year they've put on kind of like actual major expansions to it. So I'm going to be checking this out every year, and as long as I keep getting updates that, I will keep coming and I will keep showing up. But this is I don't want to say a lot about this. I just want to say a lot about this. I just want to say it's a really fun, social, online, free pumpkin carving game. Nobody wants this. From Netflix, season 2 of this. Whatever, man. I really like Kristen Bell. I am a massive Marshmallow. I'm a massive Veronica Mars fan. I've been a fan of her since Veronica Mars, and I've kind of like followed her quite a bit since. I think The Good Place is super funny. I think she's been in a bunch of movies and whatever, which are cool. I like Kristen Bell. I like Kristen Bell a lot. I also like Adam Brody. I am sort of, again, grandfathered into... I say this all the time, don't I? I like The OC. I thought The OC was a really good show until like the 4th season where it went off the end. But I think The OC is a show that came out at the right time, and I think it like elevated teen dramas and stuff like that. I think The OC is really cool. I think it did the family dynamic and the adults really well, and obviously the teens really well. And one of the standouts of that was of course Adam Brody. So you put Kristen Bell, you put Adam Brody together in a show. I think it's fun. I will say that this is just like so easily digestible, like uncomplicated rom-com drama, whatever. It's easy to watch. It's fun. It's got funny moments, funny side characters, good cast. Doesn't change the world, definitely passes the time in an amusing diversion way. It's just popcorn. I would say though, again, same thing I said about the first season, same thing I've said about a lot of streaming shows. Feels like something that would have just been better as like a 2-hour movie, but people don't want to sit down and watch things for 2 hours, so they make them into these 8-hour streaming things or whatever. I think these just would be better served as a movie, but whatever. Digestible chunks. Batman the Brave and the Bold Across the Universe. I don't know. I had like a temptation to read some Nightwing. Just Dick Grayson was on my mind. Dick Grayson, like I think he's like the most likable character in the DC universe. He is like the glue of the DC universe. he is like the socially and romantically adjusted Batman somehow. So he's able to like talk to Batman and the Bat family and be down their level, but he's also like a guy who can like speak to the Justice League and he can speak to the Titans, and like I don't know, I've always felt that like Dick Grayson is kind of if not the, he's not the, you know, the sort of like protagonist plot driving center of the DC universe, but he's definitely the if you were to like, you know, 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon and link everybody socially together, everybody passes through Dick. Everybody passes through Dick Grayson. I've always really enjoyed Dick Grayson. I like that he's a character who's also actually grown. You know, he's gone from, you know, one type of Robin to a different type of Robin to breaking out his own and being Nightwing. He became I think he was like a CIA agent for a bit in that, I forget the name of that. Tom King, in that Tom King run. But whatever, I don't really know those stories. And he's Nightwing. I think making him Batman made total sense. I think undoing all the stuff Grant Morrison did not make sense. I think Bruce Wayne should have stayed dead. Anyway. I had a temptation, I had an urge to engage with some Nightwing, and I thought the mainstream book would probably be really inaccessible because DC, I've been like eating up the Absolute line. I think the Absolute line's sick. I've been dipping my toes in some things like Mr. Miracle. I dipped my toes in Justice League Unlimited. I did. There was something else I was kind of digging from current DC. Batman Off-World. I was enjoying that. But anyway. Oh, the new Batman with like AI Alfred. What's up with that? Anyway. I had temptation to read some Nightwing. I thought new Nightwing would be inaccessible. I just thought I'd go into a anthology book, a team-up book like Brave and the Bold, because this one was a big, like, Dick Grayson Deadman story. So I was like, that's kind of cool. Deadman was in the circus. Dick Grayson was in the circus. So I read that. It was kind of cool. Gave me my Nightwing fix. Gave me my Deadman fix. I didn't know. The backup stories were some Batman stuff I didn't care about. And some Booster Gold stuff, where Booster Gold went back in time and met, like, the Justice League, but they were dinosaurs. And I thought that was fun. So I like Booster Gold. I have a feeling the Booster Gold HBO Max show is going to be interesting. Anyway, whatever. Read some Nightwing, because I wanted to. Talked about Nightwing, because I want to. Okay! On a couple episodes ago, I finished off, I caught up, because I hadn't actually checked out the last few episodes of Gen V Season 1, so I could catch up, and I could check out Gen V Season 2. Gen V Season 2. And, you know, Gen V Season 2, I actually liked it a lot more. I talked a lot about Gen V Season 1 being, like, good sort of, like, supplementary spin-off, kind of like the UPN Star Trek era, where you had like Voyager and Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, and they didn't really step on each other's toes, but they were connected. This one really steps on the toes of the boys. So it's got like an ongoing story where they've got like, you know, the villain here for Gen V that they're dealing with, but it's all linked to the ongoing sort of like Homelander coup of the United States. And I enjoyed the little main story that they had. I enjoyed the characters still. I think the characters are super fun. I enjoyed its connections to the overall boys thing. And it seems to set it up that these characters are going to be like important in the final season of The Boys. Like, kind of like important. So we'll see if that pays off and if I like that, because I don't know if that's going to then be like too many cooks in the kitchen if the Gen V cast are like actually integrated into the boys and you've like expanded the characters like this. But I don't know, maybe you need to do that for the final season if you want to make it seem big. I know I like this, but ignoring that. The core of this is the characters, the core of this is that story and the adventure they're going on, and I liked it, and I think Gen V is fun. I think Gen V is really, really fun. I thought this would be kind of disposable crap, but I think Gen V is actually good. I hadn't finished off the second cour of Dan. No, this is super recent. What have I finished off? This is from like 2025. Dandadan Season 2. Dandadan's sick. I like Science Saru. I think if Science Saru do anything, I'm gonna watch it. Science Saru or do excellent, really creative animation. Dandadan the anime elevates Dandadan the manga in the same way the Boys replaces the Boys comic book. This elevates the manga. Some of those those sequences in this, they're just not in the manga. Like they're like they take like 2 panels of just and they turn them into these cool ass sequences, and it's not for filler. It's just for like, hey, how can we adapt this into something really, really cool? So like Science Saru takes stuff and they elevate them. I will say that this season the arc is a lot less interesting. So it suffers on that sense, but I will say you do have the benefit of all the characters now, so you can just have fun playing them off with each other. There's always that benefit in sequels, isn't there, that you don't have to I know getting to know the characters is fun, but when you know the characters, you can just play. It's like learning the rules of the game and then just playing the game. Now we can just play the game and mess around with the characters. It's a lot weaker than Season 1, but it's still great. And a lot of that is down to the cool animation sequences. So I honestly, I think even if you don't care about the plot here or whatever, this season a lot of time I didn't. I think the animation, some of those sequences are just stand out. Repo R.E.P.O. So I'm gonna play this more. But since this is an endless game, I think I can give my first impressions, start a comment already. Finally got into the friend slop genre. Probably can get into the friend slop genre more. Play some more of this stuff Peak or I don't know. All these kind of things that come out. Lethal Company, etc. I like this a lot. I thought this was really fun. I think that the characters and the animations and the style and all that kind of thing are super, and some of the assets in the game are super, super endearing. They're just funny little robots. They're just kind of funny to look at. Then also adding to that, the gameplay is very nice and it gets very, very tense, and I like that kind of, you're picking stuff up and they're fragile and I like how you're kind of clunky, so there's a good chance you break it and all that kind of thing. It's just built for nice, funny moments and stuff like that, and some of the ghosts, the ghouls, the things that are chasing you get really, really intense. I liked Repo a lot more than I would. I'm kind of excited because I feel this has sort of opened up a world of I want to try out more games like that. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about today, because we are now up to date on things Rax has been checking out. Inscription. Oh my god. We don't do ratings here, but this is this is peak. This is really, 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 really peak. And I don't even know what I want to say about it, because I don't even want to sort of ruin stuff. I went into this thinking this was just going to be a Balatro deck builder fun little game. And you did runs. And it is so much more than that. It is so much more than that. If you think you can play a card game, right? Because I'm not going to say I recommend this to everybody. I'm not going to say I recommend this to everybody. Because if you don't like playing a card game, then fuck it, dip out, right? But if you like playing a card game, play this game. At least succeed in one run. Give this game one run. I know that may take you a while to finally get to the end of the run. Give this game one run. Okay? I'm telling you. It'll be worth it. You'll be hooked. This is a great game. I'm so glad I played this. I'm so glad I played this. I'm so glad that I did not know anything about it. And I think I've already given you enough about what it's about. I will do that in a longer sort of spoiler review of this game. I will eventually do a spoiler review of this, but nah. Check out description. And keep checking out Rex the Dog. So we got down in the description, we got Telegram group, we got Discord group, I post a lot on Twitter. I stream basically every day. Come hang out with Rex the Dog. If you got any opinions on these things, please drop them in the comments below. If you have any recommendations for them, give them to me. I like doing this YouTube channel because I like an excuse to talk about things I'm interested in, and talking backwards and forwards about things I'm interested in is even better. Anyway, peace out. Bye bye bye.